Hello, good morning. Today I'm going to do some study sketching and I don't know what I'm going to draw. I still have to think. Normally I decide the night before. Let me think. Today the two focuses I'm going to have for my drawing practice is to focus on controlling my line weight, really consciously deciding whether I want it to be thin or thick, and focusing on drawing everything in more of a box layout to just get the general shape of the object rather than trying getting the details or the exact curves, to understand it more structurally rather than drawing it stylized. Should I draw cows? Where's my sticky notes that I keep my notes on? Person jumping or running, frogs, toads, snails, clips, butterflies. Butterflies. Do I want to draw? No, I don't want to draw butterflies. Pens, nails, dresses. What do I mean by nails? Do I mean nails as hand nails or nails as in hammer and nails? Maybe I'll just draw fern sounds nice, but no, I won't draw that as boxy. I'll start getting into the details of the leaves. Maybe I'll draw shoes. They're already a pretty naturally boxy shape. Okay, 1 minute. Let me go find some reference pictures. Okay, I've drawn up some reference pictures. I kind of attacked my brush pen with my pen with the cap, and I split the bristles, so I'm just bringing them back together there. Before I start with my drawing today, I'm just going to do some warm-up lines. For some reason, when I've been drawing, I've kind of been having this feeling of being rushed, and that's mainly because in my head I keep on repeating to myself, quantity over quality, quantity over quality. And I have kind of been trying to rush myself, but I find that's made me not really enjoy my sketchbook practice. So today I'm just gonna try and maybe slow down a bit. I have to get used to twisting my brush when I'm using it if I want to keep the same ratio of line weight without breaking my pen and going in from the other side. have to draw from a specific angle, like this one. Okay. Now I'm just practicing drawing some zigzags and spirals. Just getting the feel. There. Let us start drawing some shoes. Again, I've decided to stop and pause on trying to draw from memory thing, because the moment kind of have limited energy and I want to make my sketchbook process enjoyable as well. So I'm just gonna let myself draw from reference pictures, and then on a day where I feel like I have a little bit of extra energy, I can go ahead and draw from memory. Did I say draw from? Yeah, that's correct. Okay, now again, let me focus on my line density. Front of the shoe. Side of the shoe. And then again for the heel that comes out. And then we have one box here and one box here. Draw the tongue. Calling it that always used to make me feel a bit weird. There. Next shoe. I want to draw a ballet shoe. These are some ballet inspired shoes, it seems. There we go. Today, when I woke up, I was all like, I have nothing good to say. I don't want to record. I'll just sketch. I won't record. And I was thinking, what if I give the transcript to ChatGPT again, and it tells me that I'm being too apologetic or something. Because I do upload the transcripts to ChatGPT after I finish recording them, just to get some feedback on what I sound like, where I could improve my talking skills. Mainly because I can't listen back. I find it difficult to listen back to my own videos and analyze what I say, so it makes the process of review less painful. And I had to remind myself that I'm not putting ChatGPT through any pain having to listen to my transcripts. And that, because I was like I forgot that no one was actually watching my videos, so it really doesn't matter if I post a bad video too right now. I mean, all of them right now at the moment are kind of low quality, but I'm viewing them as practice to improve. And low quality, I mean in terms of production and the fact that I don't have a working script when I do the videos. But I want to try and gain some confidence to do something as a perfectionist who only wants to do things when they're kind of perfect. I'm practicing stepping out of my comfort zone and doing things when I'm not exactly ready, or when I'm not exactly, in my view, ready for exposure. And then let's see, side of the shoe. Yeah. Next page. Let's draw these two guys. I mean, not two guys, these two pairs of shoes. I should try and let me just look at them for a moment. Take them in. Sorry, I just stretched and you could hear my morning chair creaks. Alright, boxes. This is the toe box. And the middle part, and like the ball of the foot box. And the heel and arch box. And wow, I've drawn this very much out of proportion. This person's foot is like incredibly skinny for how long it is. Okay, that's better. And connect. And you see parts of the side cover of the shoe. And these are not exactly ballet shoes, they're just ballet inspired pair that I found. And they've given us the back of the bottom of the shoe Don't think it's called the back. Huh. So it's like they have just one big bit for the toe, and then the arch and the heel, they're both the same size. The width of the shoe as you go down. Now, draw them from the side. Boxes. I'm not doing a very good job at the moment of boxing them. But you know, slowly the more I try and draw things as boxes, I'm gonna get better at it. Just have to accept that there is a stage where I have to be a beginner at something. I mean, I have simplified my shapes before, but I haven't really tried to make them boxes. They've been more organically shaped for me. But I feel like if I draw in boxes and just circles with minimum curves where I don't need to, I'll learn how to quickly understand and grasp the shape of something quicker, the shape and composition. Practice drawing in straight lines for a bit, because I tend to very quickly go into sort of loose flowing gestural lines whenever I work with the brush pen. It's like different materials, you work differently, and sometimes it's nice to go with the flow of the movement and style that your material encourages, but other times you kind of have to fight against it and develop a skill with it. That at first feels unnatural, but later on will make your drawing practice more efficient and enjoyable. These shoes are like actually very cool, and I don't think I'm grasping the coolness of them in this drawing, but you know, I've drawn them. That's good enough. Now we have a top view. This time with some of these feet in them. No more naked shoes. Let's see. Okay. Kind of have your top bit of the shoe. And they're separate. Remembering myself. What line weight are you drawing here right now? I want to draw in light line weight. So let me try and slow down. It's just like it's so pressure sensitive. And we go down. You can see the heel part, shoe, some of the side. Again, you can see some of the side. Here we can see more of the outer part of this shoe, where this person's foot comes in here. Whenever you see a picture, like this person's foot doesn't actually look weird, but then you look and you're like, wow, our feet look like that when they're in that shoe. Because their heels, like, you can see not the heels, I don't know what to call this bone on the side of your foot pops out. You're like, oh yeah, I completely forgot that I had that bone on my foot over there. Person has some shadow on their foot. Getting the strappy straps. I like how many strappy straps there are. And even though they're curved, I'm just gonna try and make myself draw them in as straight a line as possible. There. Done. Moving on. What shoe should I draw next? Some boots. Boota boota. Ooh, this is a nice chubby boot. Let's draw it. Top bit of boot. Middle bit of boot. Second part of boot. Last part of boot. And close boot. And bring boot around like so. Again, trying to draw in straight lines, as unnatural as that feels at the moment. Just practice control over my brush bend for a bit. So cute. And it has a fuzz, some faux fur lining. Just get that in. And it has those, down here it has just elastic laces. They're not tied up. And on top of the shoe has a kind of quilted pattern. There. Pretty happy with that. I like how that's come out. Okay. Next up, this shoe. Drawing in square lines as well, and I mean not square lines, I mean in squares and in straight lines will kind of remind me as well that I'm not going for realism. I'm going to understand the object and the way the light's on it and the coloring, but I'm not really focused on realism at the moment, and it's something I have to come out of mentally after doing an art course. You have to sort of rewire yourself again because there's a certain thing they want to see, so you have to train yourself to focus on it, and now I have to retrain myself out of it because that isn't my priority anymore. This sole is just so patterned. Like, I wonder what these patterns, how they help. I understand that some of them can increase the grip, but is there like a specific way that they go about doing this? Because would some patterns reduce or increase the efficiency of the grip on the shoe? I'm sure someone's written something about this. Now I'm curious to go find it, but how would you search for that information? Okay, what shoe should I draw next? Just draw a super simple shoe. Loafy like. You know, I've never seen a loaf paired theme of loafers. I'm sure somebody's done a loaf themed loafer, but I can't recall ever seeing one. Ba-dum, 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 bum, 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 ba-dum, 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 bum, 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 and done. Okay, done about half an hour of sketching. Maybe I should get to painting. And this time, let me put my brush in carefully without damaging the bristles. again last night. I managed to pick out, I put them in, messed around my paint pots, didn't look, and picked out 2 colors. And I got red and blue again. So maybe I should just stick with the same 2 colors for a whole week for fun and see what happens. I was wondering if I should include black and white and have an additional 1-2 colors, because that would make painting shadows and such a little bit simpler. Because I get kind of lazy painting shadows and I need to get back in the practice of observing light and dark. But this week I think I'll just have fun painting in blocks of color, not really caring about shadow. I'm gonna paint this shoe red. Today I don't even feel like looking at the reference pictures and painting the shadows in. Just want to make big color blocks. I don't know where that tune is from, but it's a little bit stuck in my head. It's very familiar, and I know it's like very obvious, but I just can't remember. Actually, I want to paint that bit purple. Let me mix some color today. Blue. Excuse me. And some red. And there. Okay. Purple. That's come out even darker than my blue. And this spot I wanted to paint a little bit of purple. A little bit of purple. There we go. And some bright red. Outline. There. No, the outline on that side ruined it because I didn't pay attention to my line weight, and now it sort of ruined the sharpness of the curve. I mean, not the sharpness of the curve, just the sharpness of the shape of the end of the shoe, but it's okay. Reminder, be careful and aware. Now, how should I paint this guy? Let's give him some purple soles. And some purpley blue laces. Lavender laces. more like a lavender tone. This, that too. And then just spill lots of red here. Spill lots of red here. And here, 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 and here. There. And let me then go in with some blue. Just light blue. There. Very interesting pair. Let's say. It's not yet dry, but I'm just gonna flip it over without a care in the world. Okay, now for these shoes. Ooh la la. I want to make them purpley blue and pinky. There. And I'll paint the insides like darker purple. To make some more dark purple. Get my red. I gone with too much red this time. I think so. Okay, need more blue. Don't want to mix too much. Okay, there we go. Ooh la la. Lovely color. I forgot how much I love mixing colors. So much fun taking two things, turning them into something completely different and new. This one's a much more warm purple than the one I'd originally mixed, but I like it. It has browniness to it. Now, I think I'll color the straps this light brown. I'll dilute the color and do like a first light coating on the base of the shoe. Don't know what I'm going to do after that. Maybe this is just enough. I'm not going to go in with any patterns for the sole. Okay, now let me mix the pink I want. And by that I just mean dilute some red. Let's see, how does that look? Too red. Whoops. Spray that down. There. Should be good. Yeah. Closer. I'm not sure whether I would have liked it even like it. Yeah, like it's coming out on this side. I mean, I just had too much on my brush. There. It's sometimes hard to take and control the release of your paint when it's very diluted in water because your brush just sucks it all up. There. Oh, I forgot to paint the top of my shoe lightly blue. I'll just paint one section of it. There. Moving on to the next page. 1 second. Did I forget to paint something here? No, I painted everything. I wonder why I felt like I forgot something. I know I said I wasn't going to paint anything on the shoe, but I'll do a little cross hatching. I like how this page has come out. Okay, now to this page, the last page, no pressure. Just take a look at it and think, what do I want to do here? Let me paint these person's feet first while I think about how I want to paint the shoes. Kind of like how that's come out. Very purpley. Now, bring in some blue. I think I want to paint this pair in blues only. I mean, we can have like some purpley blues, but nothing clearly red. I'll paint this in a light bright blue without desaturating it with red. Now I'll paint the other straps, desaturating it with red. I'm making it like a more intense blue though. And maybe not diluting it with so much water. Yeah, very nighttime blue. Okay. These top pair, what should I do? Should I just paint them in red and blue? Blocks. Again, too much water in my brush. Just dab it. There. Saved. Paint the inside of the shoe blue. There. Get some red. I'm painting this quite messily. I've painted it though, so I'm happy. It's good. I really like this color of red and how it looks when you dilute it. It becomes pink so easily. Next. Whew, I like this drawing, so I don't want to ruin it. Let me just, you know what I'll do is I'll just go over it with like a light coat, pastel colors. Not really do anything to change or push it. You know, I always used to wonder, how do they mix those like warm blues that are like gray, and you don't add black, you add red, but you have to figure out just the right amount of red to add to get it to be that lovely color. But it used to drive me mad trying to mix that shade, because it's like I'd never get it and I didn't understand what it was I was doing wrong, because it's just a slightly darker blue. So why can't I get that with black? Am I mixing it with the wrong shade of blue? And so I keep on trying and changing my shades of blue rather than changing what I mix with it. And I never realized that it did look slightly lavendery when it was diluted, because you don't know lavender is a diluted version of like an intense red and blue. There. Oh, I like how that came out. That looks cute. Now how should I paint this guy? Similar way. It's been so long since I've used pastel colors as like the majority of color in my painting. And my art teacher is always like obsessed with saturated color, even though they don't say it, because they like how powerful and impactful they are. But sometimes it's nice to return back to soft colors. Feels like a warm hug after intense reds and intense oranges and intense yellows and contrast, contrast, contrast. Honestly, I have no idea how many times I've written the word contrast in my analysis of my work in other artists. So many times. I think I'm just going to clean my palette by coloring the backgrounds with the leftover color I have on it. Also helps me practice spreading paint without having to think about how it has to be shaping the object I'm placing it upon. This is going to reduce how impactful the pastel piece looks, because I'm putting it next to such similar shade of color, but maybe I should empty it out on another page like this one, where it's all super bright color. They're not going to get affected by a little bit of lavender. I think I said the wrong thing. What I meant when I said you don't realize that lavender is a lighter shade of. What I meant was that sort of gray blue, you don't realize is a darker shade of lavender, one that hasn't been diluted or lightened. And I always thought that lavender had more pink in it, but what it is it actually has a greater concentration of blue. It's just lightened a lot. And I remember the first time that clicked, it was like, yes! Because, it may seem like something so small knowing how to mix one color, but there's a bit of yellow on my light green on my palette. Don't know where that's from. And there, voila, clean palette for tomorrow. I've still got to wash my brush and empty out my water. So I'll do that now. I'm overall pretty happy with this today. I had a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed this video too. I didn't bore you too much to death, and that you also had an effective study session, whatever you were studying, or you just had a nice relaxing time if you're doing something else. Alright, bye bye.